Hello, beautiful people. Today I'm going to tell you a story about my anger management journey. Before I start, I know many of you are already thinking, there is no way this girl needed anger management. Well, let me tell you, it took me a long time to get here. I grew up a shy, emotional kid, and I didn't really know how to express myself. As I got older, I outgrew some of the shyness and became a little more outspoken, maybe a little too outspoken. I never quite learned the balance between passive-aggressive silence and full-blown outbursts of anger. That middle lane that most therapists would call assertiveness, yeah, I never found it. It wasn't until a friend of mine pulled me aside to let me know I had become verbally abusive that I realized I had a problem. And before I could laugh it off and tell him he was crazy, out came the receipts, evidence of things I had done, things I had said, and I knew I had to make some changes. So I signed myself up for anger management classes. It was there that I learned about something called triggers. Our triggers are those things that remind us of experiences in our past that have caused us pain or trauma. I also learned that anger is our default emotion, and it always covers up what we're really feeling. I realized if I could find a correlation between my triggers and what caused them, I could give myself the choice to respond better. And that's what I want to share with you today. I invite you to consider this example. I mentioned that I was shy and soft-spoken, so I worked very hard at being able to enunciate my words and project my voice when I'm speaking to people. Even right now, as I speak to you from this stage, I'm conscious of it because I recognize that in order for my words to matter, you have to be able to hear them. But when I'm speaking to someone on the phone and they can't hear me, and they say things like, "Can you speak up?" or "speak into the phone," I'm instantly triggered. So the first thing that I have to do is acknowledge how I'm feeling. Most of us don't like to acknowledge how we feel because it requires us to be vulnerable, and nobody wants to do that, right? Once I acknowledge how I feel, now it's time to identify the cause. What just happened? Well, I was speaking with someone on the phone, and they told me to speak into the phone like I wasn't already doing that, and it made me angry. But why? I've just shared with you all how hard I work to be able to speak clearly to people. So when someone says they can't hear me, what I hear them say is, "You are still bad at this." That's not what they said, but that's what I interpreted based on my own insecurity. So now, I've acknowledged how I feel. I've identified the cause. Now it's time to consider the alternative. Is it possible that this person didn't mean to offend me? I have this issue often with my mother. My mom lost a good percentage of her hearing at a concert when I was really young, so she's always telling me she can't hear me, and every time I'm triggered. But I have to remember, this is my mom. She loves me. She's not telling me that I'm bad at speaking to people. She's just saying that for whatever reason, she didn't hear what I said. It is a consideration of this alternative that allows me to respond better. I'm able to opt out of feeling angry in that moment and respond in a way that will allow us to continue our conversation instead of stopping to talk about why my feelings are hurt. So I want to empower you to do the same. The next time you're feeling triggered, use your tools. Acknowledge how you're feeling, identify the cause, and consider the alternative. And you too can opt out of anger. Thank you.